Hey YouTube, Chanel Latimer here, and I suppose I'm sporting a new look. um, Actually, I'm not trying to follow any fashion trends with the beard or anything like that. To be honest with you, I've just been too lazy to shave. So, uh, anyway, I wanted to make this is a little impromptu, but I feel inspired to make a video for um, any musicians out there, any of my musician friends or whoever, um, help you guys out. Uh, because I mean, I'm not really that active anymore. Um, I've already stated how I got back issues and that sort of thing. Although I did get to do a tour earlier this year, which you probably, if you saw my earlier videos, you've seen some of that. But um, yeah, like I'm not that active now, but even though I'm not really active anymore, I still bring to bear 25 years of performing in front of people for money and 20 years of performing full time, just doing music, nothing else. So, I think and I've seen a lot of things and though you could, we could argue that maybe we haven't seen anything like this. Of course, I'm referring to COVID-19, and how that's affected really everybody, but, of course, the arts and stuff. You can make an argument for that, but however, I would personally say that, yeah, maybe, this this particular situation might be kind of new, but the fundamentals of how to get through this are no different than any other rough patch you could experience in the music industry. You know, um, it boils down to, uh, I guess, really three things. You know, um, I'd say the first thing is, uh, well, actually, make that four things. I think that's four things. So the first thing I would say is, um, learning how to read the writing on the wall. I'd say the second thing would be being adaptable to your situation, or what's going on around you. Um, and then the third thing I would say, uh, something that a wise old dude tells me all the time: you got to know your customer, know your customer. Well, he's right, and you do have to know your customers. So I think that comes to bear. And there was a fourth, and I forgot what. Oh yeah, well, you know what? I guess it ties in with adaptability. Just trying to be, having the ability to think outside the box. So yeah, let's go over some of those, shall we? Okay, so well, first of all, reading the writing on the wall. Let's hit that. You know, uh, there's not much reading of the writing of the wall that you could do for COVID and stuff. But I mean, you know, there are other things that you can kind of see where things are headed, you know. And so even though you couldn't predict this, you can see where what direction entertainment is going. So you can kind of follow, um, follow a plan of action to take advantage of what you see. You know, so um, so let me throw an example from the past of my career where I saw the writing on the wall and I was able to take advantage of it. Um, so during during I guess the height of when I was most active, so that would be like the early to mid 2000s. So like say about 2003, that's when I really started having some level of success, and then like say through about 2010. So uh, I had acquired corporate sponsors, and that's how I was doing all my concerts. all up and down the East Coast, and a little bit out west and stuff. And um, I had one of my sponsors was Coldwell Banker, the other one was Washington Mutual Bank. And that's a whole nother story how I got them. So, we'll save that for another video. But in any case, so I had sponsors. They were paying for my the concert venues I was performing at. And, basically, so their money funded the concerts. Okay. And then, so, it funded the venue, it funded my band, my sidemen, and then whatever ticket sales I made, I was able to keep the money from that. Okay, so I can go into the arrangement I had with them in another video, but the point is this: in 2008, I had a comeback concert planned for a concert hall called the Patchogue Theater for the Performing Arts. Okay, so I was going to be featured on main stage. I had been there back in, what was it, 2003, I think it was. So yeah, because actually that concert was what kicked off, my I guess my successful run. But in any case, so I was heading back there. They wanted me back in 2008. So my sponsors were on board and everything, and everything was going good. They were giving me money for advertising, blah blah blah. Well, about a month before the concert date, Washington Mutual contacted me and said they were dropping out. They were, not going to be able to put in funds towards the concert. I was like, oh well, So anyway, whatever, and they didn't give a reason why, which I found odd. So I was like, whatever, and we left on a happy note because my mother taught me you don't burn bridges. Okay, so then about 2 weeks before the concert date, Coldwell Banker said, yeah, Mr. Latimer, I don't think we can, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, man, what's happening? What's going on here? So ultimately, I basically had to cancel the concert date because, and this is maybe a topic for another video. You're not going to fund the concert without sponsors. Okay. You can have a sellout and you can still be in the hole. And like I said, we can talk about it another time. So anyway, so I canceled the concert, and the hall was really disappointed. And I kept thinking to myself, why did they do that? Everything's been going great. They've been making money off of me from my fan base creating accounts and getting mortgages or whatever. So, I thought about it. I'm like, they're both financial. I wonder if there's something going on. And sure enough, not 2 weeks. So 2 weeks before the concert, the last sponsor wigged out. And then now 2 weeks after what would have been the concert date, Lehman Brothers, Bear Stearns, they all collapsed. The economy tanked. There was my answer. And so that was a time I don't want to say I saw the writing on the wall that, there's going to be a financial collapse, a calamity in the world. But I did have a sense that, something's not right because everything's been going great until then. They've given no indication of being unhappy. And all of a sudden so that was the case. So anyway, once that happened and I saw the economy tanked, I knew that I had to change gears and I couldn't do concerts anymore. Like I said, you need money, other people's money to do a concert the right way because the ticket sales is not enough. So anyway, so that's when I was like, you know what? Maybe what I need to do is switch gears. Oh, sorry, there's a car over there with headlights on me. Anyway, Maybe I should switch gears and focus more on the educational stuff I do, the programming that I do around the country, and that took off for me. So I read the writing on the wall. I saw where things were going. So if I was active now, and I had to deal with COVID, with what's going on, um, here's that thing. Okay, so now we're going to tie into a couple of the other things, knowing your customer and thinking outside the box, um, so knowing my customer or knowing my fan base or the people that listen to me the most, they're all older than me. They're at least a generation older. So, the overwhelming majority of my fan base was baby boomers and even the silent generation. So people say, 60 and older. Okay. So, knowing that, probably what I would do now is, I think one of two things. Well, it's really the same thing. It's just a matter of how I would approach it, well, anyway, okay, so okay, so retirement homes. A lot of the people that were fans of mine, if they're older, and a lot of them are in retirement homes now. And so what I would do is I would approach retirement homes, and now, of course, I can't perform there in person. They're at high risk. They're in higher risk category than me for, what COVID can do to them or even catching it. So what I would offer is, since that generation, those two generations, since they grew up with their favorite performers being on television, and they're used to seeing the people they like on television. What I would do is I would contact retirement homes or whatever. I say, hey, I can provide you with a performance, via YouTube or some kind of streaming service, right? And you pay a deposit to secure the date, and then I'll do the performance, and then you pay the other half after the performance is done. And so basically what I would do is I would live stream it to them, from whatever service, YouTube or whatever. It doesn't even really matter. But the point is that uh, almost every live streaming video service has some kind of chat. So what better way to interact with your audience who grew up watching their stars, the entertainers they love on television, what better way than they can do that, but now they can send in a text, or have the person, in charge of the event, the entertainment director or whatever, go on the chat and say, hey, Chanel, Mary Sue would like for you to perform Misty. Okay, yeah, well, this song here goes straight out to Mary Sue. Guess what? I'm going to perform Misty. I type it all, on the chat. And, so like now, not only do they have an element of something that they grew up with, it's taken to another level because now it's interactive. Okay, but you might say, oh, Chanel, though, but, they might not be well equipped enough to have YouTube and say, yeah, well, you know what I would do? I would invest in a cheap laptop or two or three. I mean, you can get a laptop for like $300, Chromebook or whatever. I would invest in a few laptops, and I would make extremely easy instructions, step 1, step 2, step 3, on how to Chromecast, well, first of all, how to get to YouTube, because maybe some people don't even know how to do that. Believe it or not. But, and then I would say, okay, well, and this is how you Chromecast, from the laptop to the television. And, I would charge a fee for that. If if the facility doesn't have a laptop, They can have me ship one to them already set up. All they need to do is connect a couple of cables or whatever and follow the instructions. They sign a form. Hey, if this is damaged, then I'm going to owe you XYZ. Blah blah blah. I think you get the picture. So that's thinking outside the box a little bit. And you might say, well, that's kind of extreme. Sending a laptop. Is it? I mean, think about it. Like, if your livelihood is performing for people, and you know, you, that's an investment and a tax write-off too, by the way. But it's an investment on your future, and so yeah, and I'll go even one step further. Not only would I, of course, not only would I ship it to them and make sure everything's straight up, I would even provide instructions on how to ship it back to me safely. Again, it's an investment, Uh, anyway, or maybe I charge them a little bit extra and put that extra towards insurance. So so you see, I guess what I'm trying to get at is that with these times, you got to think differently. You have to pivot. You have to be adaptable. Um, and so and that's just an example of what I would do if I was active. And I'm hoping that it might be what I've just shared might, spur some ideas with you. Because look, not all of us musicians had the same fan base, like the same type of people that listen to us. So what might work for me may not work for you, but what I told you may spur an idea. So, hopefully that's the case. Anyway, I don't know. I feel like I got more information I would love to share, but I don't want to make the video too long. I do have a tendency to talk, but it's only because I feel like I have a lot to share, and you know, uh, all these years I had put into music, and though I'm not really doing it really anymore, I mean, I still do a gig or two here. Then, like I said, I did a tour back in the beginning of the year. Between you and me, I only did the tour because I had to pay my property taxes. But anyway, I just feel like I've been through a lot. I've learned a lot. And if anything I learned or have experienced or have thought of can help anybody else out there, then great. And maybe some of the craziness I went through wasn't for vain, well, wasn't in vain. So anyway, hope you're doing well, whoever sees this. And catch you later.